On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, OU legend Sterling Shepard joins us for an interview. We talked to Sterling about his time at OU and about his NFL career with the New York Giants. And then we finish up by giving you our winners and losers of the weekend. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right. Our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Monday, May 17th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and your health and safety are Riverwind's number one priorities. There's so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's number one casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack, blackjack match, roulette, and craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And Fridays in May from 6 p.m. to midnight, you can win your share of $80,000 in cash and bonus play in Riverwind's $80,000 Wildflowers and Winnings promotion. If you need help finding your way, just visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, simply the one. Now, we're recording this on Sunday night. Please don't forget to leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Also, let us know who you want us to try to get on the podcast. And we've got one of the best wide receivers ever to do it at Oklahoma on this episode, Ted, Sterling Shepard. And it's a fun conversation.
Oh, it's going to be awesome. Shep is a beast, one of my favorite players to watch and cover at OU for sure.
Yeah, he's great. And Oklahoma City guy, love it. Love when the Oklahoma City guys are doing well, and he is having a tremendous pro career. Okay, good weekend. I feel like I need to check in on T-ball stories. Like any T-ball stories, just any updates?
No T-ball. We had a T-ball free weekend. It was really pretty laid back. Kind of needed a laid back weekend. You know, after being sunburnt and windburned last week, it was nice to just chill out a little bit. So it was pretty relaxing.
Okay, before we get to our interview with Sterling, I wanted to share a story from the weekend. So my wife and I were running some errands, getting some baby stuff, and then she wanted to get some new glasses. So she's picking out some new glasses at Warby Parker here in Oklahoma City. And I'm just standing around. I'm not doing anything. And I was just spacing. I don't even know why, but I must have done like a practice golf swing or something. I don't know. I'm just standing there, just not doing anything. So I must have done that because one of the employees pulls me over. He's like, "Hey man, hey, let me tell you a story." And I'm like, "What in the world?" All right. So one of the Warby Parker employees pulls me over. He's like, "Hey, have you heard the Vietnam POW story?" I was like, "I have no idea what you're talking about, man." And I really didn't. I had no clue. And he proceeds to tell me the story about a guy that I guess was a decent golfer, and he was a prisoner of war in Vietnam. And every day when he was like in captivity, I don't know if that's the way to put it, but he would visualize every detail of his favorite golf course. And he just visualize it in his head, like everything about it, every shot. And according to this Warby Parker employee, when this prisoner of war got home, even though he hadn't touched a club in like years, he went out to that course that he had been visualizing all those years and shot like a 74, including a hole-in-one on the first hole.
Wow.
Have you heard this story? Have you ever heard? Okay, because I hadn't either, and I feel like I haven't heard all the sports stories, but this seems like one that we would know, right?
Oh, for sure. This is one of those that you feel like they would have already had like
A
like a
movie.
real sports or a movie or some type of coverage on it. And maybe they have, I just haven't seen it, but that's amazing. If it's true,
Well,
even if it's not true, it's still a good story. Just don't tell me if it's not.
right. But so I'm listening to this guy tell this story, and in my head, half of my brain is like, wow, this is awesome. And the other half is like, this is total bullshit. This did not happen. Like golf's impossible. Right. Like I'm all about the power of visualization. Like I get it. It's huge in sports now, sports psychology. I'm a big believer in all that stuff. So, like, right when we get in the car, after I'm on Google, I'm searching, I'm like, is this real? So, the story, because I Googled it, and there's a few different versions of the story, but the one I stumbled on the most in my Google search was about a guy named Major James, either Naismith or Neesmith. I'm not sure. Nesmith, maybe Nesmeth. Let's go with Nesmith.
Mm-hmm.
But here's according to a couple different stories on Google, but there's no like actual sources, so I'm even
Right.
more skeptical now. But so the story goes that he was a decent golfer, guy that shot in the 90s, similar to Sterling Shepard. You'll hear about that later, ladies and gentlemen. But he served in Vietnam, was a prisoner of war for 7 years, and was kept in some small cage the entire time. And to help pass the time when he was a prisoner of war, he would play 18 holes every single day in his head. He'd visualize getting dressed, lacing his shoes, tucking his shirt in. He'd think about the weather. He'd think about every detail of every shot, grip, where he wanted to put the ball, where he wanted to land, like everything. And he'd do it every single day for 7 years.
Wow.
And as the legend goes, he got home, and the first time he played that course he was visualizing the entire time, he shot a 74. So basically a 20 shot improvement without touching a club for 7 years. There's no possible way this is true, right? Because there would be a movie or a book or something, because I kind of believe it now because it's quite a few places, but there's no like concrete factual evidence or anything. I want to believe it, Teddy. I want to believe it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to believe it because it
Look
never
at
hurts
you.
to believe in good things. So I'm going to believe it. I'm really interested in his daily playing of the full round of golf, including getting dressed. I'm guessing the drive to the course, handing your clubs over to the gentleman there at the club drop to put into the cart, or maybe he's walking it. I think that's fascinating and a hell of a way to pass some miserable time, I guess. And I mean, I wonder if he ever hit into the group in front of him, playing through some of these rounds in his head.
Get out of my way,
Taking
assholes.
too long. That's awesome, though. I love that story. That's great.
So basically, the reason I brought it up is if anyone knows anything about this story, please send it to us on Twitter at Ted Lehman 11 at Gabe Ikard, because if this is true, how is this not a movie? How is this not a thing? Like, or maybe there is a movie and we just don't know. But if you have any information about this, send it our way, because it's a fascinating story if it's true.
What do you do if for 7 years playing this course every day in your head, you get up to the number one tee box and every day you've pured the 3-iron, just a little tug draw around the trees, nice and low into the breeze. And instead of doing that, as you visualize it every day, you like yank hook it left into the pond that's running there next to the tee box. Like, what, do you just
you hit someone on the driving range?
Do you just like, well, it's much more fun playing it in my head. But hey, that's great. I love it. I hope it's true. I really do.
Me and you, we're gonna start visualizing golf shots at night now. Before I
Oh
go to
yeah,
bed, I'm going to play it. We're going to do it. We'll
I'm
see.
playing the back nine at Augusta tonight.
There we go. I don't know if we can get on that course, but if you can, let's do it.
Don't need to. I need to visualize myself. Forget the golf. Visualize myself just getting onto the course. Like that's the thing I need to visualize.
That's the goal right there. Okay, let's get to our interview with Sterling Shepard. But first, First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs. Checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all. Whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone, everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. First Fidelity Bank also provides free ATMs worldwide, making banking convenient wherever you are. They also give back to the community. FFB donates a total of more than $500,000 to local charities and educational foundations. Make your life easier and go bank at First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information. And don't forget, make sure you send your kids to Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School. Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School has a long tradition of educational excellence. They know that children need to be in school and are doing everything possible to make that happen. Bishop McGuinness students were welcomed back last August and saw very few interruptions in 2020. With a 12-to-1 student-to-teacher ratio, no student is overlooked. Bishop McGuinness's college prep curriculum offers 22 AP courses. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, contact Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available. All right, here he is. Here's Sterling Shepard. It is our pleasure to be joined by one of the best wide receivers in the history of Oklahoma football. You also see him running around out there on Sundays. He used to wear 87. He'll be back in 3 this season for the New York Giants. Sterling Shepard is in the house. Shep, what is going on, man?
What's up, my man? That was a hell of an introduction.
It was pre-prepared. I put some time into it. Right? I put a little time into it. Okay, let's get right to that, right? Because the NFL changes the number rule, and wide receivers can wear single digits now. You are making the switch back to number 3 for next season. How special is it to you? Because I know how much that number means to you. How special is it to be able to wear that on Sundays, man?
Bro, it's super special. I mean, that number means so much to me. You know, my dad used to wear that number, and that's kind of where he made his name at Oklahoma, wearing that number on his back. So I always wanted to follow in his footsteps, and I've been number 3. So my dad passed when I was 6. I had been number 3 from that point on, and playing in Little League, playing in high school, you know, always been number 3. So it feels good to have it back on my back. I was just kind of reaching, like, you know, when I was a rookie, it was like, dang, what do I do now? And my dad bounced around the league a little bit, but he stuck with 87 the longest, I think. So that was the reason why I went with it. But yeah, it feels good to be back in number 3. That feels home to me.
Was it a race? I mean, there's a lot of guys that like those single digits. Whenever they made that rule, was it a race to call the equipment guy?
Yeah, I mean, right whenever they made the rule, I was on the phone. But he was like, man, you got seniority. You're the longest tenured Giant, which is super weird, being the longest tenured Giant in 6 years. And I mean, he was like, you got the reins to whatever number you want. And I told him 3, and you know, Coach Judge let me go ahead and do it.
That's crazy. You're the longest tenured guy on the team.
Is that not nuts?
That's crazy.
You're getting old, man.
Bro, old. I feel old. No.
So let's talk about your Giant stuff. I do want to, you know, talk about some of the stuff from OU. Obviously, that's always fun to rehash with you, man. But okay, so what's going on now, right? It's normally a time where you guys would be in OTAs, you guys be doing things in the facility. So I know each team's situation seems to be a little different depending on what the guys on the team want to do, but what's kind of the situation with the Giants?
Yeah. So, you know, you have different phases, and, you know, COVID is still a thing. So guys are still worried about COVID. Some guys are worried about the injury aspect. So we've just been talking as a team on kind of what we wanted to do, and we wanted to be united in our, in what we do. But yeah, we kind of got everything's kind of split right now. It's kind of up in the air whether we're going to come back phase 3 or we're going to come back on Monday, tomorrow, actually. So I think a couple of guys are going to go back, and then we'll see about phase 3.
What's it been like? You know, a lot of players don't have the opportunity. Like you said, you're the most tenured guy there. You're kind of there during the changeover. A quarterback that played for a long time was like, you know, known as the Giants quarterback forever. I mean, God, what was it, 15 years or something like that, or maybe more?
Yeah.
And then a new young guy comes in. So there's got to be a little uneasiness, maybe excitement whenever you've got a new young arm in there. Just what's it kind of been like through that process of changing over from storied veteran to the new young guy?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got prepared for that. I played with 4 different quarterbacks at Oklahoma, so I'm kind of used to that. But yeah, like you said, I mean, Eli had everything down pat. He was able to tell me my route, and then 3 other guys whatever they needed to run. And it's a little different. I mean, you have a young guy, he's trying to figure out his way, and then, you know, he's got a lot on his plate. But Daniel's a smart guy. He wants to be great. And I mean, he puts in the work every day. Like I take my hat off to him. He's the first one in the building, last one to leave, always in the meeting room, always trying to pick our brains on what we're thinking. So I really appreciate the way that he works, and he's made some strides for sure.
So I know they're completely different players, right? Eli, just, you know, guy that's won Super Bowls. He's a legend. Daniel Jones, a little more of an athletic dude, but
yeah.
I don't know if it's just the way they dress or what, man, but are they like the same person or are they just completely different guys?
When you get to know them, they're completely different. But if you look at it from the outside, it's like, dang, these guys are similar. Like the way that they dress too. I always tell Daniel that. I was like, bro, you live in New York City now. Like we got to take the khaki shorts off, and this, you know what I mean? Like I'm always on his head about it. But yeah, man, if you're looking at it on the outside, but their personality is totally different. I mean, Eli was a big prankster, bro. Like once he's pranking somebody every day, like sticking grass in your mouth. I don't want to give anything away in case one of the new guys see it. I'm gonna use it on them.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be crazy though. So whenever you are going through to get a new quarterback, like it's a lot of reps and throwing with them and learning, you know, just some of the small little nuances. What's it been like to not have normal offseason, normal like OTAs and mini camp and just like the typical things, just being around your quarterback day in, day out like you typically are? Has that been tough to overcome?
Not really. I mean, we've taken it upon ourselves to go get together. So, I mean, we've taken 3 trips already, and we'll spend a week and a half with each other. We'll like rent a crib somewhere. And I mean, that's all we're doing is throwing. And then we go work out, do it all over again the next day. So
who pays? That's got to be on the quarterback, right? QB's got to pay for that.
To get everybody together and get everybody out there.
Yeah.
I go half with them sometimes, and then Saquon will chip in, but you know, he's been injured, so he hasn't been able to make every single one of them, but usually he helps us out as well.
That's cool.
That's interesting. I'm with you, Teddy. I feel like that's all on the quarterback situation.
Hey man, listen, that's part of the deal. If you're going to get all the credit when we win, you're going to foot the bill for the BRB or whatever it is whenever we're going to hang out and throw.
Dude, he's always yapping about it too. Man, I'm always doing nah, I don't want to hear it.
That's the second contract will come. He'll be fine. He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. Oh, yeah, he'll be good.
Okay, so you've played with some other really good receivers, man, in New York. Now, like you said, you're the one that's around now. Y'all signed Kenny Galladay. You've played with Odell. You've played with Golden Tate. Like, you've played with some really good players. What's that been like, playing with other elite talents in that room with you?
Yeah. I mean, it helps me, bro, because I'm one guy that I never stop learning. Like, Golden was really good with finding the zones and getting open, and I just kind of picked his brain with that. Then you have Odell, who's just like, he's a freak athlete, but just from the route standpoint, I was always picking his brain on the routes. And then Victor Cruz as well, like his yak was out of this world. So just different things from each and every guy. I'm constantly asking questions, and I'm not afraid to learn some new stuff, even going into year 6.
You pay much attention to the draft. I know took a wide receiver in the first round, but is that something you pay much attention to, or just we'll see what the roster looks like when we finally show up?
Yeah, that's kind of what it comes down to. I mean, you got to put it on the field. You got to put it on the field every day at practice, and we'll all see it. So, I don't pay too much attention to it. I know that we took a receiver, and then what did we get in the second?
Outside linebacker.
Outside linebacker. So, yeah, I mean,
the kid from Georgia, pretty good player.
Yeah, good player. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing those young guys. I'll probably go into the building tomorrow just to meet a couple of them. But yeah,
you will get a chance to roast Rodarius Williams, a corner from Oklahoma State. So took him in the 6th round. That's what I'm waiting on.
Okay, now I got somebody to get a little bet with.
I don't think he's gonna want any part of that bet. The way things have been going, man.
I don't think so either.
But it is funny. I think you can roast Kadarius Toney too. So that's the Florida kid they took in the 1st round. I read some article like his cleats didn't fit or something in rookie minicamp, and they had pictures of him running around with no shoes on. I was like, this is professional football. What are we doing?
Hey, I'm gonna have to get in his ear about that one.
Yeah, that'd be great. No big deal. DB, step on your feet with cleats out there, running around barefoot. Jeez, yeah. I'm surprised they let that happen.
I know. I got to talk to the equipment guys about that.
Oh, those equipment guys are sensitive, man. If you blame them, they're gonna be. It'll be a wrap if you blame that. They're gonna get all upset about it. So just leave those equipment guys alone, man. They work hard.
They wash your laundry, and they will leave it in the locker.
That's true. You don't mess with those guys.
Okay, so last week schedule comes out, right? And I know every player approaches it differently, but when it comes out, there's certain things you look at. So I was looking at y'all's schedule, kind of interesting. 3 out of the last 4 divisional games, kind of the NFL setting up possibly a fun scenario for the season to end on there. You've got 2 Monday night games. Now one is at Kansas City and the other one's at Tampa Bay. So not, great opportunities. That's what we'll call this, great opportunities. But when that schedule comes out each and every year, what do you kind of look at as a player?
Man, I honestly don't even pay attention to it. Like, we got 17 games. That's the way I look at it. And I don't care who it is. I just want to be prepared. I want the team to be prepared every week. So there's not one specific thing that I really look at. I always look at the game opener. So we got the Broncos at home, which is pretty dope. Finally get back in front of some fans. So super excited about that part of it.
What's your routine like right now? Are you obviously, like, typically this time of year, a lot of people, not everyone, but a lot of guys are starting to get around the facility quite a bit and, off-season workouts and stuff like that. But since that's been different the last couple of years, like, what's your daily routine like?
Yeah, I mean, so I've been out in Arizona with Odell and Saquon for the past, 2.5 months. And we've been out there training, and we'll be golfing the rest of the time. But, yeah, man, we're out there. So we would get up at around 9 o'clock, get a workout in. And then around noon, we would probably finish that workout, get treatment, and then come back in for a second session. We usually do like a pool session. And then, golf from there. But, that's pretty much my routine. And then I just got back to New Jersey. So I've been going up into the facility, just going up there around 6. Nobody's in the gym, and get a workout with one of the guys up there.
So we're going to get to the golf game.
That's what I'm interested in.
No, we can't. I don't even want to talk about it, bro.
I saw Teddy's face light up when you mentioned golf. Teddy's big into golf, bro, and I'm getting into it as well. Like I'm starting to get the itch, man. But
I'm not any good, but I love playing.
It's just I just like the drinking aspect of it. It's great.
Dude, me too. Crack open a cold one, man. Hey, nothing like it.
And the courses out in Scottsdale, beautiful too.
Oh my gosh,
beautiful, bro.
Not many better places to play golf than Scottsdale, especially this time of year. It's perfect. For sure. But how is Saquon looking? Obviously, Tough injury for him early last year. I assume that he's bounced back well off the knee since you've been training with him, and obviously key part of y'all's season coming up. He looking good?
Yeah, man, he's looking good. He's confident, and that's the way you want him to be. You want his head to be strong, and it has been thus far. So yeah, I'll let him talk on his behalf. But yeah, he looks good to me.
I'm just curious what your golf game looks like after getting out from under that
Here we
squat
go
rack with Saquon. I
Getting
mean,
off the squat rack. Oh man,
because that dude's like a 600, 700-pound squatter, right?
Dude, I'm telling you, I try to keep up with him, but it becomes a point where it's like, man, hey, we don't have any more weights left.
Trying to kill myself in here.
For real, the bar is bending and everything.
We are out of weights.
Yeah.
Okay,
man.
how's the golf game? What are we looking at? We looking under 100, between 100 and 120. And hey, some of those courses out in Scottsdale, it's not those. You're probably not playing some chump course.
Bro.
So
tough courses. Bro, I played Scottsdale National. Scottsdale National. We ended up not being able to finish it because we had some other stuff going on. But yeah, I'm usually around like 95. I get in the 100. I get in the hundreds from time to time. I'm not very consistent, bro.
There ain't nothing wrong with
I'm gonna keep it real. Real.
That's 95. Hey, if you're living at 95, you're having a good time, man.
That's
I'm just
fine.
having a good time, bro. That's what I go out there for. I got 2 kids ripping and running, so it's good to get 4 hours and go out there and hit some balls.
That's a good deal. No, it's fun. That's a good place to play, and it's good to have something to do to kind of burn some of that extra energy. So, how much have you kept up with the Sooners? Do you follow the team quite a bit? You've been watching these guys?
Man, to be honest, whenever everybody left that I knew, I stopped following as much. But yeah, I'll hear stuff every now and then. And if there's a big game, I'm obviously going to watch that.
So your senior year at OU was Lincoln's first year, right? When
yeah,
he
came in
as the OC. He comes in, and I was looking at your college stats and your production. You had a really productive junior year, but then your production skyrockets. Your senior year, right? All-American, Biletnikoff finals, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What was there? And now it probably had a lot to do with Baker being the quarterback. That probably didn't hurt things. But
for sure.
when he arrived, was there a moment where you're like, "Damn, okay, yeah, this dude is different when it comes to calling plays, designing things"?
I can't pinpoint it to one specific thing, but man, I mean, you get his energy. I remember the first meeting when he first came in. He's like, "I don't care what you've done up to this point. Everybody's going to come in here and compete for a job." And I was like, man, this dude means business. So I wanted to show him what I had every day. And at that point, I had been pretty established. I made some plays, but I just wanted to show him what I was about. And I mean, he's a genius when it comes to calling plays, bro. A genius. Never seen anything like it. I knew he was going to be a head coach at some point. I didn't know it was going to happen so fast. But yeah, at some point I knew he was.
You got like a favorite play or favorite game, favorite situation that you look back on at Oklahoma?
Favorite play? Probably say the one that stands out to me most is probably Tennessee. Scoring that when I jumped over that guy and went into the end zone. Yeah, that's probably the most memorable play that I had.
I love the funniest thing about that is it doesn't, like, the internet sucks for a million reasons, but every now and then there's something great. And I remember that it wasn't like 10 minutes after the game, I look on Twitter and they've got the picture of you like going into the end zone, but it looks like you're riding a unicorn. Have you seen that picture?
Yeah, I saw it right after the game.
It was so funny. That was such a cool game. That atmosphere was insane, man.
Dude, that's the loudest stadium I've ever played in. 100%.
That's what everyone that went to that game, and I was still playing then. So everyone that went to that game, like my wife was there. She said it was, I mean, just insane how loud it was.
Dude, I'm telling you, loudest game I've ever played in. And we played in some pretty.
They also
cool
had a semi truck of speakers right behind the benches playing "Turn Down for What" on every single third down. You just feel it in your chest.
Crazy.
So I was thinking about that play, you know, that picture that every OU fan knows, you jumping over the guy from Tennessee. And I know you're quite the businessman. And this NFT thing has like exploded.
I know,
right?
I've been hearing a lot about it.
So I was like, why doesn't he sell that to some OU fan as an NFT? Dude, I'm telling you, some OU fan out there would pay good money for that. I don't know how much, but it's
I would.
more than zero.
Gabe, you might be on to something, dog.
I'm here to help you, man. I'm here to help you. I'm here to make the Shepard family. Yeah, like you said, 2 kids. You can never have too much money, man.
You ain't lying. Well, hey, we'll text about that. That's a good idea.
I'll do some research. I'll try to figure out how to do that stuff. I don't know anything about that shit, but I'll try.
Like, some people act like they know. Like, I can kind of like explain what it is to a certain degree.
I can explain the definition that I've read like 20 times now.
But it's like, right.
Yeah. I don't know anything about the technology. I don't know how it works. I don't know anything about the Ethereum blockchain. Like, I got nothing, guys.
No shot.
You got any guys on the team? Like, cause I was lucky whenever I always played with a bunch of Texas guys, and I could always take some good money off of them whenever the OU Texas game came around. You got any guys on the team that you guys do some jawing back and forth with the college stuff?
See, that's the problem. No, we didn't have anybody else in the Big 12 last season, so I wasn't able to bet anybody or, do anything like that, which was kind of a bummer. So I'm glad that we got old boy in the 7th round. Now I got somebody I can put a little wager on there with.
I like it.
That's sad to hear that there wasn't any other Big 12 guys, but that's kind of how it's been going,
I know.
man. It's getting better. Getting better. Hey, Sarkisian will get things rolling at Texas, maybe. Hey, Lance Leipold, new guy at Kansas. Maybe Kansas will get better.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But, I doubt it.
Okay, this is something I've always wondered. And now that, you've been part of the Giants organization for so long, but you hear a lot about how tough it can be playing in the New York market, right? Because of all the media coverage. In your experience, is it really that bad? Like, have you had any crazy stuff happen to like you or your family or anything? Or do you think that stuff's kind of blown out of proportion?
I think it's blown out of proportion a bit. I mean, that's all that was stressed to me whenever I first walked into that building was, the media can be pretty brutal here. And it's a tough place to play. I will say that the fans are tough on you. The media is tough on you. But I mean, I haven't really had any like really bad experiences with them at all. So it may be blown out a little proportion to me, but to some others, maybe a little different.
All I remember about playing in New York was everyone behind the benches. Now, this is as a visitor, just sit there and drop F-bombs at the players for 3.5 straight hours, which, you kind of expect, but I'm like, it's like they paid a bunch of money to come cuss at the players. So I'm sure it's probably like that on the home side too sometimes, but.
Yeah. Oh yeah. 100%. 100%. I know what you're talking about.
So what do you think? Because you've been there through some different coaching staffs quite a bit now. What do you think of the new regime?
Man, Coach Judge is he's a tough coach, man. He's a tough coach, but that's what we needed. I mean, I've never, for the previous 2 coaches, we didn't do any conditioning or anything like that. But I will say last year was my first year really having to condition. Kind of felt like Oklahoma all over again. But you know what? It was honestly good for us. We were getting to the 4th quarter, and I mean, those guys would be wheezing, and we were like nothing happened. So I will say he's whipping us into shape, but it's all for good.
How going from all the continuity we had at OU, you had at OU, right? How weird was it? Like 3 head coaches already in your career. I mean, that just had to be weird. But going from the stability of the situation with Bob, and then having McAdoo, Shermer, and now Judge, like how weird was it having to reset each time?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of prepared, like with the playbook and everything, because we went from Heupel to Coach Riley. And I was able to pick that system up pretty fast. And then when we went from McAdoo to Shermer, it was kind of similar. The offenses were kind of similar. So that was the easy part about it. But yeah, I mean, that's just the nature of the business, man. Like, you're going to have rotating teammates every other week. It's just the way the business goes, man. And I kind of got used to it.
What's you got big personal goals for this upcoming season? Is there some benchmarks or certain things that you're wanting to accomplish this year?
Yeah, man. So we actually had to write down our goals last week, and my number one was play all 17, man. I have had 2 seasons where I've missed, I think I've missed a total of 8 games in those 2 seasons. So I want to get back to playing all 17 and being able to help my teammates out.
Yeah. How difficult was last season? Like, cause you guys were in the NFC East race for so long and it kept dragging on, but you were banged up. So what was that tough on you personally last year, knowing that you could be out there contributing and helping the team and y'all were still in the playoff picture, but body just wouldn't allow it? Yeah.
I mean, you know how it is, man. Like, when you can't be out there with your brothers and you see them grinding every day, it's a bummer. So that's the way I was feeling. I was trying to do all I could just to, help them around with the team, just being a leader and stuff, but it's not the same if you're not out there. So I was excited to get back out there, and I was able to help at a pretty crucial time. So I think we had the Eagles on like a Sunday night is when I came back, Sunday night. And then we got things rolling after that. So it was pretty good, and we gave ourselves a fighting chance.
When you said play all 17, it just sounds so weird, but it made me think to ask you, how thrilled are you about that extra football game you get to play in?
Man, it's a struggle. Bro, your body after 16 is already like, man, damn near checking out. And we got another game, but I mean, it's all the way you look at stuff. It's all about perspective. So got another game, another chance to boost the season, I guess.
You've got 17, and a lot of them are on a field that people kind of make it sound like it's cursed or something. Like, have you noticed anything weird about the field? Because people, dude, it's like some guys seem to be like scared to go play there now.
Yeah, I know, but they tested out the field. I think after everybody started getting on Twitter and was talking about it, and they tested it, and it was only like one specific cleat that like Bosa and all of them were wearing. It's a Jordan cleat, but it has like a different bottom to it. And that's the only cleat that they ruled like not acceptable because it grabbed too much on the turf. And I'm signed by Jordan, so I was like, yo, dude, I don't have this bottom, do I? And I was good. But I think the field is fine to me. I haven't had any problems with it.
Yeah, that's wild. That 17 games is just, I'm with you. It's so much. And I was curious to see, was there any conversation among, like, I don't know who the Giants NFLPA rep is, but was there much conversation at all with the players about that, or was that just kind of punched through?
No, it was kind of punched through. I mean, that was 2 years ago when we were negotiating a new CBA. And I guess, they had been going back and forth about it. But yeah, I missed that meeting. Actually, there was a conference call, but yeah, they came up with that. I don't know who accepted it or what.
Okay, this is my last Giants question. Mm-hmm. How often does someone bring up the boat picture to you?
Dude, you know what? So they said that we were playing Miami for the 17th game, and everybody just went berserk on Twitter. I mean, the picture was everywhere. It was like it just happened or something. I was like, oh man, here we go with this again. I'll never be let up for that.
Dude, I will say this, bro. At least you look good in it. At least you're looking good.
Bro, we were out there in Timberlands and jeans. Like, what do you mean? It was 85, 90 degrees.
What were y'all doing? I mean,
dude, it's a long story. Long story.
Yeah, you were. I mean, it's hard to get a real feel what the weather's going to be whenever you're coming from up north. But how cool is it to watch, some of the OU guys have big success in the league, man? Because there's some guys that are making some great money. They're making great plays. They're winning games. Baker takes Cleveland to the playoffs. I mean, that's a huge accomplishment right there. And you just got a bunch of teammates out there that group that you play with, they're doing really good things.
Yeah, I mean, I was super happy for Joe. I know that he got his check at the beginning of the last season. And then he ended up getting injured, right?
Yeah,
was
he
he out
got,
for
but
the rest of the season?
he'd signed the big contract already.
Yeah, he had signed it, so I was super happy for him about that. And yeah, Baker. I mean, he was going into the season, and people were talking about he wasn't going to be the starting quarterback by the middle of the season. He ended up showing him up, but that's the way he's built, man. He's built for the pressure. He's always had a chip on his shoulder. Like I knew that he was gonna turn it on.
Yeah, he's fun to watch, man. He's one of those guys. I was wondering when he went to the league, like if he would change at all. I was hoping he wouldn't because of how entertaining was. That dude has not changed one bit.
He won't. That's not. He's not going to change for anybody.
As long as he's, it's like the more he's winning, the more it comes out. And I feel like they're over the hump now. Like they got a really good staff. They got a good roster. They've drafted really well. Yeah. So there was some sketchy times there for a little while, but I bet we're about to see full force Baker this year.
Oh yeah. They're gonna get things rolling. They got a nice little squad.
Okay. Last one, we'll let you run. I'm about to be a dad. End of June. Baby Ikard coming. End of June.
What? You got your
are
boy?
Baby boy. Baby boy.
Man, lucky dog you.
I know you've got kids. And I know girls, but the little differences there. Yeah. Give me all the dad advice. I need it all. I need the premium Sterling Shepard dad advice.
If I could give you one piece of advice, I mean, you're gonna have to help out, bro. So them diapers, you're gonna have to go ahead and change those diapers, man. And then wifey's gonna be tired at the beginning, like right at the beginning. She's gonna be super tired. So, grab the baby, take a few hours, let her to go do her own thing. Trust me, it's worth it. It's worth it.
I'll give you one more piece of advice, Gabe. Do not, no matter who says it, do not put the crib in your bedroom.
Heck no. Don't do it. Oh, that's great.
Some people put the crib in their bedroom. You got to put it in the kid's bedroom.
Okay, hold on. Is there, like, right off the bat?
Right off the bat.
Yes,
don't
bro.
even, because we got something, someone bought us something called a snoo or something. That
doesn't even work. Bro, that stuff doesn't work. They're always going to want to be held. But, yeah, he's right, bro. Put that thing in another room, in the baby's room, because they'll be in there for forever. My daughters sleep with me now.
I'm telling you, if the baby starts in your room, it's going to wake both of you up every time, and you're both going to end up hating each other.
Yeah. Guys,
if you put the baby in their room, you can rotate turns getting up.
This feels like it's going to be a hard sell. You have put me in a very tough spot here.
Oh, well, I'll tell you, it's not going to be a hard sell because you can either start off doing it or a weekend. That's what you're going to end up doing.
Yep.
Okay. I'll relay it. Look, hey guys, I'll start a group text. I'll let you know how it goes.
Right. Come on.
Sterling. Hey man, fun catching up. Excited for you for this season. Hope the wife and kids are doing well, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys, man. Congratulations on that too, Big Gabe.
I simply just did what I was told. You know that.
All right, Teddy.
Good luck, man. Good luck this season.
Well, it doesn't sound like he's lived the boat pick down yet.
I think that's one of those things that's going to be brought up forever. I mean, no matter, and you know, when I was talking about the internet is so good but so horrible, that's one of the things it's horrible at. The picture will live on forever.
Yeah, but Shep is the only reason I cheer for the New York Giants. I've got no other reason to cheer for him.
Man. He's so fun to watch, so talented. I'll be honest. Whenever I saw that he was coming up in high school up in Oklahoma City, I was like, yeah, I mean, come on. But man, year after year, he got better and better and better. He's still getting better.
I remember hearing about him when I was in high school, and obviously went to Heritage Hall there in Oklahoma City. So I had actually had the opportunity of seeing him play, and a lot of people talked about Barry Sanders Jr., who was on that team also.
Right.
And when I saw Shep play, I was like, no, that's the kid.
That's your guy
That's
right
the one
there.
right there. He's the one that's going to be a special player. And that was no disrespect to Barry. Barry was a really good player, but the first time I saw him, I was like, oh my gosh, he ain't that big, but he is electric.
It's amazing, man. He's done really, really well for himself. Went straight to New York, has been productive every year, married a supermodel. Hey, life is good for Shep.
I was going to ask him about some of that stuff. I was like, that's his personal life. We'll leave that alone. I was like, that,
Right.
that we'll leave that alone. Okay. Let's get to our winners and losers of the weekend. But first, do you own a business? If you do, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. Insurica's clients become best-in-class businesses by working with Insurica's team of advisors to manage risk. Purchasing insurance is only one way to protect your business. Best-in-class businesses win by avoiding loss in the first place. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. I'm an Insurica client, and you should be too. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com. And make sure you connect with our friends at Advanced Weight Loss Clinic of Sand Springs. They'll help you execute a realistic and achievable weight loss plan designed for you and only you. They've got all kinds of treatments for men and women. Their licensed and trained experts combine diet and exercise with hormone therapies to maximize your results. If you're struggling with low libido or low energy, Advanced Weight Loss Clinic of Sand Springs can help with that too. They also offer Botox and fillers. To get on the path to losing weight, call 918-241-LOSE or visit their Facebook page. If you mention the podcast, you will get a free fat burner injection. Okay, Teddy, as always, kick us off. Who do you have as your winner of the weekend?
Well, I thought about going with OU softball because once again, just fantastic. That was so fun, so entertaining. I thought there was a chance we were going to have like a really close down to the wire game against Oklahoma State. And it looked like a couple of times that maybe they were going to try and make a game of it, but man, it had everything. Great hitting, great pitching, great fielding, solid robbed home runs, some diving plays in the outfield. OU softball, man, again, Big 12 champs was awesome to watch again, but I had to go with Steph Curry. Unbelievable. Wins the scoring championship for the NBA, and there's a couple of weird things. He's the oldest to do it since Jordan did it. At what was he, 35, I think now? It's unbelievable to think that Steph Curry is the oldest to win the scoring title like that. He's getting up there in age like that, but he had 11 40-plus point games this year, also the most to do that in their 12th season or later since Jordan did it. So an unbelievable year. He's been absent from the league and the conversation around the league for a while because of injury and then because of the Warriors and them being down, but he announced that he's not going anywhere this season. Not only was he the scoring title winner, but he was the most exciting player in the NBA to watch during the regular season, even though they ended up at just the 8 seed, which, is not what he's used to, but man, he was can't miss television when he was on.
Yeah. And if you watch that game against Memphis, it was, and back when the Thunder and Warriors had that rivalry going, there was always that impending doom that avalanche was coming from the Warriors. And he's had so many games this year where the avalanche was just him, man.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's his 12th year in the league. I mean, it's hard to believe he's been in the league for that long, but that performance against Memphis, I mean, it was just fun to watch. it hurts my soul to say this, but the Warriors are one of my favorite teams in the league to watch right now. I
Isn't
mean,
it strange how much the dynamic has changed with the
I
Warriors?
I feel gross saying that, but just because Draymond's still there, and but even Draymond's playing better basketball this year. Like
It's great.
they're
Draymond is a really good basketball player. That's not the problem. The problem is whenever his mouth gets going. And whenever you're in the 8th seed, you just don't hear from him near as much. And that's a good thing for him and the NBA.
you want me to tell you something about the Warriors that's going to surprise you?
Sure.
Andrew Wiggins is almost averaging 19 points a game.
Wow.
Like, when's the last time you thought about Andrew Wiggins? Like he's scored at a high clip for him. He's playing good basketball. Now Draymond yells in his face a lot, and he did it in the Memphis game, but like they are, I don't know if they got the magic that the We Believe Warriors back in the day with Baron Davis had, but Steph Curry is must watch television right now. And that 7-8 game in the play-in tournament, that's going to be fun. Warriors,
it's going to
Lakers.
be really interesting because I can't even predict what my soul is what way it's going to lean until that game actually tips off, and, I will eventually at one point in the game have to root for one side. I'm guessing it's probably going to be Golden State, even though I hate that team. I hate their coach, but I can't see myself in any way, shape, or form cheering for LeBron and the Lakers. So I don't know.
This is an easy situation. This is a classic. All right, I'm gonna flip a coin and bet on the team that wins the coin flip, and then you've got a vested rooting interest in it.
There you go.
All right, who do you have as your loser of the weekend?
Well, it ties right into my loser. It's got to be LeBron James, who is in a play-in game. After everything that he said about the play-in games and the person who came up with it should be fired and that whole situation, because it's like it's a weird situation. Like they got to play Golden State. Curry's red hot right now. If they beat Golden State, well, congratulations, you get to play the red hot Suns, right? If you lose to Golden State, you have a chance of missing the playoffs entirely. But if you win that game, well, congratulations, you get Utah. I don't know. Maybe you could argue that they need some continuity and they need a couple of games to get going before they really step into the playoffs. But it's a weird situation for the Lakers to be in right now. And I'm fascinated to see if they can salvage anything in the postseason.
Well, I was watching that game that they were playing against the Pacers the other night, and despite LeBron James saying he's never going to get back to 100%, he looked pretty damn good to me, jumping all around. Like he looked
Fresh.
spry. Yeah. He looked fresh. I mean, fresh legs. He was bouncy. He was active. I was like, okay, this guy, and that's, I don't blame him, right? Hey, you use this ankle, I'm gonna get a little time off now. And I'm sure, hey, a high ankle is no fun. But if they are full strength, if he is healthy and Anthony Davis is healthy, it's hard to pick against him still in the West. Like it really is, especially with the way he looked the other night. I was like, oh, I'll say this. I would not feel comfortable betting against LeBron James right now. I just wouldn't.
I'll tell you what's crazy. Like if you mentioned how fresh he looks, and he hasn't played a whole lot of games. Anthony Davis has missed a ton too. But if they come back and they're fresh and they look good and they make their way through the playoffs, it's like everyone's just going to hold out, not hardly play any regular season, just because, I mean, NBA postseason is long, man. So I think, especially at this stage in LeBron's career, he's like, I don't care about the regular season. I don't care about that grind. Get us to the playoffs. I'll be fresh. We'll be good to go. Be interesting to see if it works out.
He looked good. They're playing New Orleans right now as we're recording this, but he certainly looked good the other night, and he's got 14 already against the Pelicans, 6 of 11 from the field. So I think he's feeling
Seems
maybe a
okay.
little better than he thought he was, or
Seems
maybe
okay.
he was playing possum a little bit with us.
Imagine if he was 100% though, if he could just get back to that 100%.
I'll say this. I'm fired up for the NBA playoffs, and I know the Thunder aren't in it, but it feels like one of the more wide open years we've had in a long time, whether it's Philly or Brooklyn in the East. I feel like we're really discrediting or just maybe even disrespecting Giannis and Milwaukee, right? I mean, they're still a really good team. So you've got the play-in games. Like, it's going to be fun, man. And then the West, who knows who's coming out of that? I mean, Lakers, Clippers, Suns, Utah. I mean, Denver. It's wide open. It could be one of the best NBA playoffs in a long time. It really could.
I hope it is. I hope you're
right. Okay, guys, spring is here, and you know what that means. It's hard seltzer season, baby, and there's only one hard seltzer that we drink on this podcast, and that is Will and Wiley Hard Seltzer from Coop Ale Works. It's perfect for any occasion. We drink it by the pool, at the lake, and at the tailgate. It's made in Oklahoma, and it is absolutely delicious. Will and Wiley is customized for the Oklahoma lifestyle. Go find it right now in a store near you, and go follow them on social media at Will and Wiley. If you're drinking some because of us, tag them, let them know. Okay, for my winner of the weekend, thought about going with Vanessa Bryant because her ability to keep her composure under the circumstances of that Hall of Fame speech was so impressive. I mean, just so impressive. That could not have been easy. I don't even know how we could imagine what that felt like, but I thought she handled it unbelievably well.
She did great. Doesn't that feel like it was like 3 or 4 years ago?
Well, remember that was it happened because I was in LA when it happened. We were in LA going to the Grammys when it happened, and it was like LA stopped, and you saw it. It was this surreal feeling. So that was what, February.
It was right before
everything shut down.
Stuff. Yeah.
So that's why it feels like it's been 4 years, because it basically has in our minds.
It's amazing. It seriously feels like it has been years ago, but it's crazy. You know, she did great. It's tough.
Yeah, that was tough, and credit to her. That was impressive. Also thought about going with Mike Boynton, right? Because Bryce Thompson, the Oklahoma product, now he's transferring from Kansas to Oklahoma State. So you lose Cade Cunningham. I don't think Bryce Thompson is quite in the same on the same level as Cade Cunningham, but really good player, and that's a big get for Boynton. I also thought about going with Sam Houston, right? Big win over South Dakota State in the FCS championship game.
Weather
really
delay.
Good game. Lightning delay.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah. Always love a lightning delay in a championship game. That's tough, but that's still cool. I'm telling you, man, I don't think they're going to, but I wish they would play that in the spring every year.
Okay. Why, other than saying, you know, you'd have a couple of the best players not play like Trey Lance did this year, why wouldn't they? And I am one of those people that's like, hey, football's meant to be played in the fall, right? That's just how God intended it, right? Like, you can say that, but when you really look at it, ESPN put some of the broadcast numbers out. They were doing way better viewership than they would in the fall. Like, that's obvious, but I mean, how many kids would it really affect if they shifted to the spring? I feel like they would generate a lot more revenue for the schools. They'd get better TV deals as a result. Like,
well, I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't a coronavirus year, Trey Lance would have been playing. Don't you think?
I don't know. It's hard to say, because if he's like, I'm going to top 5, why would I even risk it? I don't know if he would have, but I think there's only going to be one or two of those guys every year in the FCS.
If that.
If that, like maybe not even every year.
Yeah. So I think it's a no-brainer. And you can even, because when was the draft this year? What was the date? Was it the last weekend in April?
Yeah.
Or the last week? So your season could easily be over before that. I mean, there's plenty of time to get your season I know they didn't this year, but in a typical year, if you started in, the second week of January, you could easily finish your season and be done with it.
Yeah. Those first couple of weeks would be cold some places, but hey, football's meant to be played in the elements.
Well, NFL they're playing their last regular season game is like January 9th.
Right.
So, I mean, that's football time. There's still people going to be playing football, but it will be cold. But I don't know. I like it. I think it's interesting, and because I'll never be able to watch it on a regular Saturday. Most people won't.
Yeah, and I've watched a ton of it this spring because I'm flipping through the channels like, oh, hey, football. Yeah. By the way, that was an absolute laser from the Schmid kid from Sam Houston to win the game. That thing was on a rope in between three guys. That was fun. That was fun to watch. We got off track a little bit there. My winner of the weekend, the Pac-12 conference, because they have a new commissioner. His name, George Kliavkov. I've asked many people, and they're going with Kliavkov, and I'm all for it. But I find it interesting that people that don't like the hire are saying Kliavkov is too much like Larry Scott because he doesn't have any experience in athletics administration. People that like the hire are saying they like it because he operates completely differently and has a much different personality than Larry Scott. So either way, Larry Scott is just getting roasted all around, which is a hilarious byproduct of this hiring. But I do like Kliavkov when you look at it because he said some really good things in his opening presser, and obviously he was prepared for it, but acknowledged they have to improve in football and men's basketball, said that's what butters their bread. I was like, first of all, great phrase, but also very true. Said he supports college football playoff expansion, which with how many college football playoffs the Pac-12 has been left out, the ADs and the presidents that he now represents are going to be excited to hear that.
They want to expand to 32. The Pac-12 does.
Well, just take us all. Every team in the FBS. Let's roll. Also said he'll ask the athletic directors in the conference what he can do to help them. Said he's going to go on a tour of the campuses of the conference, go meet with everyone. That was not Larry Scott's style. Larry Scott was one of those guys, he thought he was smarter than everyone else. Didn't really care what everyone else thought. But Kliavkov, he brings a unique background with his experience running the sports and entertainment for MGM. He has experience with digital media deals, done stuff with Hulu in the past, did stuff with MLB Media, but it almost just feels like a good hire because he's not Larry Scott. After the more I read that, I'm just like, but it is interesting. Everyone saw the MGM stuff and they're like, oh, sports gambling and all that, but it's really not that. It is about bringing revenue to the conference. And it seems like this guy's got a lot of expertise in doing some things, especially could be a little more forward thinking to help the Pac-12 out. Cause let's be real, there's a big gap between them and everyone else when it comes to the revenue stuff. They need help.
What are the chances if the Pac-12 doesn't make the college football playoff again this season, that someone from the playoff committee goes missing? Because the last name Kliakov from the gaming industry does not sound like a guy you want to cross, right?
Sounds like a situation, and I know we're stereotyping a little bit, but where your thumbs could be in jeopardy, right? Your thumbs could definitely
I love the move though. I think it's good. I think it seems out of the box, but this what the Pac-12 needs is they don't need someone that's been in sports administration and is just going to do the same stuff. They need someone who knows how to figure out the nuances, the landscape of the changing landscape of college football, and what it means in the media, and what it means to cover it and to get it on television and to get it streamed and to do all of those things. I mean, you've got to find revenue streams, and that's what he's done. Sports administration, sometimes like ADs are really good at what they do, but sometimes you need to go more to the business world. And this is because I know people don't want to hear this, but it's a big business and that's what they're running. They need someone that knows how to be in the business world. And it sounds like he does. I think it's at least really interesting. And for me, I think it's a good thing for him.
Yeah, I'm with you. It's going to be interesting to see how the Kliavkov era goes.
It can't go worse.
True.
I mean, the only thing that can happen, like from this point on, are only positives. Like all the other negatives have already been completed at this point.
I guess he could find an even more expensive place to put the conference office there in San Francisco. Like he could upgrade the real estate, maybe. Like, remember that figure they were playing like $1 gajillion in rent for the conference office? It's like, and everyone else's offices are just like in small. Oh,
amazing.
Hey,
my guess is the offices will probably be located on the Vegas Strip in a penthouse suite somewhere.
That he talked about them embracing Vegas for more things, and hey,
go.
That's where the money's at. All right, for my loser of the weekend, thought about going with Scott Van Pelt, which is rare because I love Scott Van Pelt, but he must have had an over on the Thunder win total this season because he absolutely roasted the Thunder on SportsCenter. What the hell was that?
I don't know. Why the Thunder? Why now? He's not new to this. It's like he hasn't seen the NBA before. Come on.
It was a little weird that he singled the Thunder out, especially they have the third worst record. They don't even have the worst record.
I know. I don't know. It's fascinating. The Thunder are not the first team. The Golden State did the same exact thing last year. I mean, teams do this. If they're not going to be able to compete, if they're not going to be able to go win a title, they go for the other end of it. And because there's a reward on that end of it too. So, hey, I'm with you if on changing things. I don't know what the proper answer is, but it's funny that he singles out the Thunder of all the teams that have done this over the last 2-3 decades.
Yeah.
I mean, the 76ers did it for like 10 years in a row. Trust the process. It was like a thing that everyone talked about, right?
Yeah, and the weird thing about it is SVP, like during it, who acknowledged, like, yeah, the best way for the Thunder to get better is to build through the draft, and the best way to build through the draft is to be really bad. He had to have had a bet on it. I mean, he just had to have.
Crazy.
It's been a long time since they've won 2 games in a row. Long time. By the way, it's halftime right now. The Clippers didn't play a soul tonight. Thunder 62, Clippers 60. Oh boy. Ooh. It's a takeoff, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but I also thought about going with whoever pulled this horrible prank on a guy named Wontarius Bryant, who is a DB from Austin P. Someone was sending him text messages like they were the Atlanta Falcons defensive coordinator. He thought he was getting a rookie minicamp tryout with the Falcons. He showed up there, was like, hey, I'm here. Let's get rolling. Rookie minicamp tryout. Show you what I got. And they're like, dude, we haven't contacted you. We have no idea what you're talking about. Who does that to another human? What is wrong with people?
That's brutal. I feel terrible for the kid for showing up there and walking in and feeling like a total fool. But I still feel like the Falcons should have let him go through the minicamp just because, right? Well, you're here. Let's get this guy a jersey. Get him a piece of tape on a helmet that has his last name. Let's see what he's got since he's here.
Seems like he's a pretty good player at Austin Peay. I don't know, but remember the rookie minicamp stuff, it's cut way down like the tryout guys because of the corona stuff. So I mean that there are a lot of guys missing opportunities because of that. But I saw that story and I was like, and he put a public statement out on Twitter saying like, I hope I can get past this. I'm so embarrassed. Like, oh, I felt so bad for him, man. It was
Brutal.
like he said, just brutal.
Hey, any publicity is good publicity, right? Any publicity is good publicity. I'm not saying that he's going to get picked up somewhere because of this, but it gets him on the board because I guarantee you people are talking about it in those NFL offices.
Oh, everyone is talking about it.
Yeah.
Hey, did you hear about this kid? Also, maybe he can parlay it into like a Good Morning America
Sure.
appearance or something. I
Sure.
don't know. Something fun. Cool. But my loser of the weekend, man, I've been excited to talk about this with you. Ohio State football. Teddy, it is never good when you have to put out a statement that you've conducted a thorough investigation, and as a result of said investigation, you have banned a massage therapist from campus because of inappropriate actions with members of your football team. Maybe, and maybe the best part of the statement that Ohio State released is them saying they don't believe any NCAA rules were broken, which I love. I love that they clarified, right? Hey, let's make it clear. Hey, the massages involved benefits, but these were not extra benefits, okay?
There's nothing of monetary value that was exchanged, I guess.
But it sounds like Ohio State had been investigating this for a while. I can only imagine, because they hire the law firm, do the investigation, whole thing, right? Can you imagine how awkward those interviews were with all those players? So what happened in the massage? Want to tell us about it?
So she did your
So I've got this
calves
doll.
and then quads, and then what?
I've got this doll. I want you to point on the doll where she massaged you. Yeah, I was just thinking about these grown men having to sit through these interviews. And let's make it clear, like, it's funny. It's fun to laugh about. Nothing illegal happened. No one's getting arrested. I know a lot of people have been firing off Deshaun Watson jokes. And I personally don't think it's that funny to make those jokes, make that comparison because of that. Once again, that Deshaun Watson thing keeps getting weirder and weirder.
I know.
But
well, it's impossible to look at this thing and not view it through that lens, right?
That's what
the Deshaun Watson situation.
Do you think the timing, and I know from the stuff I read, it sounded like the first complaint was filed like a year ago, something like that. I don't know how long the investigation, but I don't think like the timing, I don't think it was coincidental where they probably really got serious about it because of what happened with Deshaun Watson. I think that was probably connected in some way, shape, or form, right?
Well, here's the way I view it. They found out that there was a masseuse that was targeting football players and for sexual reasons. That's what they said.
I mean,
that's why she was targeting the football team. So it's one of those things where if you hear about this and it's going around, like, you better get to it and get it out there and stopped immediately, because if you wait, you never know what could happen or what could be said. And all it takes is someone to make a statement against one of the players, and the whole thing could look really bad. So it's not knowing really what was going down. It's a weird situation, but like when you view it through the Deshaun Watson lens, it, even though it has no bearing on his case, like it's probably like something that his defense team is probably looking at, right, and saying, see, this is a thing or whatever. I don't know.
No, I know I know what you're
weird.
trying to say. I do think, it's fun to laugh about, but there was probably some moments for these kids, these Ohio State players, that, this investigation, who knows how long it had been going on. It sounds like it's been a while, but that Deshaun Watson stuff came out, and these guys were probably freaking out.
Oh, I
right?
know.
Like, oh my God, this is going to happen to us. And clearly, and this is no surprise to anyone, but this was clearly something the guys had talked about in the locker room, right? Sure. They had spread the message, hey, go to this lady, you meet her in a hotel. Like, if you're going to get a massage in a hotel, I just want to point out that's a sketchy start. Sketchy start. But I can only imagine the panic going through that locker room, going through some of those group texts, right? After the Deshaun Watson stuff started trickling out, and they're like, oh my gosh, guys, like, is this going to happen to us? I mean, that had to be going through their head, and that had to be, that couldn't have been much fun for those kids.
No. And, it's scary. And again, it doesn't have anything to do with Deshaun Watson's case or any of the facts there. I don't know any of it. I don't know what's going on there, but all it takes is like a statement, and at that point it's like you're playing defense. Like, there is no, like, the court of public opinion usually gets to their answer fairly quickly without hearing a whole lot else.
Yeah. So this was, when it came out, I was like, oh boy, every podcast, radio show, TV show is going to get their jokes in. But
can you imagine, seriously, if you're Ryan Day, it's like, being a head coach of a big time program has to be the most nerve wracking thing ever. Every phone call you get, it's like, oh my God, what is it now?
Can you imagine he's being briefed on this situation? He's just like, wait, hold on. How many guys? Really? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, we'll figure it out. Yeah, just let me know what I need to do. Let me know if I need to give a statement. But it sounds like Ohio State handled this thing very well from a legal standpoint. But I can't imagine the leadership there at the university. And remember how Ohio State views itself, right? The Ohio State University, for something like this to come out about the Ohio State University's football players. That's probably not making a lot of people around there happy, Ted.
No. Well, hey, I like that they went ahead and self-reported, even though they don't think any violations occurred. I'm anxious to see what the NCAA says once they get to it in 2028. See if there's anything improper that took place.
We'll find out. That's probably the time they'll get to name, image, and likeness also. So we'll see. Okay. On that note, episode 112 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop Thursday morning. Just a reminder, you can hear Teddy from 2 to 6 on Sports Talk 1400. You can hear me from 3 to 5 on SiriusXM Big 12 Radio, channel 375. Hope you all have a great week. Till next time, we appreciate y'all for listening, and do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.